Okay, so we'll wait for 5 minutes, then we'll start the session. Okay, so hello everyone. So I hope my voice is clear to you.
Yes, madam.
Okay, and okay, fine. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Himanshi Singh. I am currently a PhD scholar at Department of Mathematics, IIT Jodhpur, and I'm your TA for the course Regression Analysis, which is taught by Professor Soman Mehti on the NPTEL portal. Okay, so so this is our second live session, and this is the schedule for the live sessions. So I hope my slides are like you can see the slides.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so this is the live session schedule. So this is our second live session today. Okay, and this slide is about the which are available for you. The first one is the Google Meet link by which you can join the meeting. The second one is the YouTube link for my channel where I'm uploading the recorded live sessions. Third one is the Google Drive link where I'm uploading the PowerPoint presentations. Okay, not the R scripts. So for the live session, I'm uploading the presentations here on this Google Drive link. And this is the plan for the live sessions. Basically, I'll give you a brief recap about the topics which are covered in the session. Then we'll do some of the practice examples. And meanwhile, and afterwards, if you have any doubt regarding anything, then you can ask. Okay, I hope these things are clear.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay, fine. So then we'll start the lecture. So in the last live sessions, we had discussed about the uh, simple linear regression analysis, where we have studied about the ordinary least square estimators of the coefficients of the regressor term of the line which we are trying to fit into the data. Okay, and apart from this, we have also studied some of their properties, that they are unbiased estimators of the parameters. We've also seen uh, the estimator of the variance of the estimators. Okay, we have talked about that. Further, we have talked about the hypothesis testing, that in order to check that whether the estimators which we are estimating, whether there is a linear relationship between the two variables or not. Okay, so we have tested the hypothesis for beta 1, so whether it is 0 or not equals to 0. Okay, so today we'll talk a little more about simple linear regression analysis, and then we'll go towards the multiple linear regression analysis. So first of all, let me talk about the analysis of variance. So basically, when we are talking about analysis of variance, so this is giving us a different kind of a test, not a different kind of a test, a different way to test the same hypothesis in the last lecture. And the test is like for simple test is basically same, whether we are doing the test which we have performed in the last week lectures, and the test which basically the ANOVA table will give us, that both the tests are same. But when we move towards a multiple linear regression analysis, then they may differ. Okay, so for that, we need some of the terms. So this is the total sum of squares. So this is basically the expression summation yi minus y bar whole square. So this is total sum of squares. The second one is the SSREG. So that this is the sum of the squares of the, it is because of the regression. So this is yi hat minus y bar whole square. So here the values which we are considering is the estimated value or the fitted value. Okay, and we are subtracting the mean from or the average from that values and squaring it and summing it over. Apart from this, the next term is the residual, which we have already studied in the last lecture. So that is yi minus yi hat whole square, summation of these quantities. Okay, now in the lectures we have seen the expression that SS total is equals to SS regression plus SS residual. Okay, and we already know that SS residual has SS residual has n minus 2 degrees of freedom. In the last live sessions, we discussed about it. And if we talk about the SS regression or SS total, so SS total was the expression that yi minus y bar whole square summation of this, and we already have the constraint that summation yi minus y loss of 1 degrees of freedom. So this is n minus 1 degrees of freedom, SS total. And the degrees of freedom follows the additivity law. So if this is n minus 1 degree freedom and this is n minus 2 degrees freedom, so this implies that SS regression is 1 degrees of freedom. So this is about the degrees of freedom for these various expressions. Okay, so now with the help of this, we'll go towards the ANOVA table. So if you want to make the ANOVA table, so this is the ANOVA table basically, where we are basically writing the degrees of freedom for different expressions. So here, this is SS regression, SS residual, SS total. These are the corresponding degrees of freedom, that is 1, n minus 2, n minus 1. This is the mean square sum due to the regression, due to the residuals. So this is nothing but the if we divide the SSREG by the degrees of freedom, then we get MSREG for both the case. If I want to get MSRES, then it is the division of SSRES by n minus 2. So this is the thing. Then the statistics, the F statistics is nothing but the ratio of these two, MSREG divided by MSRES. Okay, so we calculated this F statistics. Now we see that this random variable basically follows the F distribution with 1 comma n minus 2 degrees of freedom. So 1 is the degree of freedom because of the numerator, and n minus 2 is the degrees of freedom because of the denominator. Okay, so yeah, so then if you want to test the hypothesis, so it basically says So here it is written that if I want to test this hypothesis H naught beta 1 equals to 0 versus beta 1 not equals to 0, we reject the null hypothesis if f, the f statistic which we have calculated, if that is greater than f alpha 1 comma n minus 2. So then we'll reject the H naught. So this is basically the decision rule. Apart from this, we also have this quantity that this is a unbiased estimator of sigma square. This we have already studied. And if I find the expected value of MSREG, this is the new terms which we are studying in this lecture. So this, the expectation of this is sigma square plus beta 1 hat square SXX. So it is not an unbiased estimator of sigma square. So we know that n minus 2 MSRE is divided by sigma square. This is a chi-square with n minus 2 degrees of freedom. Similarly, for MSREG, the MSREG divided by sigma square follows chi-square with 1 degrees of freedom. And due to these two are chi-square distributions, if I take the ratio, the division of the ratios by that, so if I take the this quantity divided by its degrees of freedom and this quantity divided by its degrees of freedom, and if I take the ratio of both the quantities, then this will be the F distribution with degrees of freedom of the numerator, and the second one is the degrees of freedom due to the denominator. Okay, so that's why it is a F distribution, and because of this we are getting this test or the decision rule using the F statistics. And here the value of this thing can be calculated using the F table. So when we are discussing the questions, I will be using it and I will show you that how to take the value from the table, okay, for this quantity. Now again, this in case of the simple linear regression, both the t-test and the f-test are the same. So, but we cannot say the same thing for the multiple linear regression. Okay. So this is about the ANOVA table. Apart from this, if I have a new observation, for example, like I have a data y 2, 3, 4, for example, x is 5, 8, 9, for example, and in place of this in 2, 3, 4, apart from 2, 3, 4, if I want to predict an confidence interval or a prediction interval for a value of y which is not here, so for example I want to predict an interval for y is equals to 5. Okay, so for that the prediction interval is given by this. Okay, I think I have not discussed these two slides. So, okay. So I've discussed this. Okay, yeah, coefficient of determination. I will go there afterwards. So this is the ANOVA table, and this is the coefficient of determination. So basically, R square is the value which is known as the coefficient of determination, which is defined as SSREG divided by SS total, or 1 minus SSRES divided by SS total, and this basically lies between 0 and 1. Okay, so what basically the interpretation is that if R square is 0, so if this SSRES is 0, then R square is 1 basically. So which basically says that the data is like completely fitted to the model. So for example, if I have this this kind of data and it is completely like fitted into this line, and I am getting this line and it is completely fitted, so for that R square is 1. So this kind of scenario is explained when R square is 1, and opposite scenario when R square is 0 means that the fitted variable and the regressor variable have no linear relationship basically. So when R square is 0, and in between if there are values, for example, if I'm getting the value of R square to be 0.5 means that 50% of the variability is explained by the model, other 50% is not explained by the model. Okay, so that basically says this coefficient of determination talk about those quantity. Okay. Apart from this, beta 1, so we have talked about testing of hypothesis for beta 1. So so that is kind of a point estimation or hypothesis testing. So first of all, we were doing the point estimation. Then we have talked about the hypothesis testing. Now we are talking about the confidence interval. So if beta 1 is the focus of interest, so the confidence interval for beta 1 is nothing but beta 1 hat minus z alpha by 2 under root of sigma square by SSX when the sigma square is known. So if the variance, but if sigma square is not known, then in place of z alpha by 2, the distribution will be the t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2. So we will be seeing the values from the t table, and in place of sigma square, we will have MSRES. So that we can calculate using the SSRES and n minus 2. The ratio of them will be this MSRES. So that is the confidence interval for beta 1. Okay. Now the interval estimation for this value. So that is the expected value of y given x is equals to x naught. So if some x is equals to x naught is given, so if I want to calculate the interval, confidence interval for expected value of y, if x is equals to x naught, if I want to find out the confidence interval for this kind of value, then that will be this expression. And here this is the estimate for this expected value of y given x is equals to x naught, which is given by this quantity. So this is beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x naught. So for this estimate to find out, we need to know the estimate of beta naught, we need to know the estimate of beta 1, and also we need to know for what x naught which we are calculating. So this is the value. Just we will be putting this value here, square root. These are the quantities which we can calculate from the data. And how is this coming? So basically, this estimator, the distribution of this estimator is normal distribution with these parameters, mean and variance. And by using this normal distribution, so because when sigma square is unknown, then in that case, we'll use the MSRES. So the distribution will be the student T distribution. Then we'll using the T table in order to find out this value. So in this way, we can find out the confidence interval. And we will be discussing this in the questions also. Okay. So these are the formulas. Just I'm recalling these formulas. The questions and everything is recalled to you, and you may give the answers whenever we are talking about these things. Okay. So yeah, now we'll go towards the prediction. Have the values of y 2 3 4, the values of x, that is 5 8 9, and if I want to predict the value, so for example, if I have the value of x to be some for example 7, and I want to predict the value of this y. Okay, so corresponding to x is equals to 7, I want to predict the value. So for that, so this is not observed basically. So corresponding to y, x is equals to 7, the y is not observed. I'm just saying that for x is equals to 7, what will be the predicted value of y? Okay, so for that, the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent prediction interval of for y, this y naught is given by this. So this is y naught hat minus t alpha by 2. So here this y naught hat is nothing, but it is beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x naught. Okay, so this is y naught hat only minus this t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 can be calculated from the t table. Square root of MSRES 1 plus 1 by n plus x naught by n as x bar whole square divided by SXS. So these are the quantities we can calculate from the data. Okay, and also whenever we are calculating the x bar, we are only considering these values. We are not considering this value. Okay, and x naught will be the 7. Okay, so from using these data values, we can calculate this confidence interval, or we can say the prediction interval. Okay, so any doubt till now, because this is all about the simple linear regression analysis. Then we'll move towards the multiple linear regression analysis.
In the determinant of coefficient, we're saying that R square equal to 1, it has covered all the points, which means the regression line is fitted with all the points. That is the meaning, correct, madam?
Yeah.
In case 0.5 means 50% of the points will not lie in the fitted line. The remaining 50% is covered. It means
Yeah.
like that, madam.
So basically, directly picturize it, we can just talk about the extreme values whenever we are talking about this line to be fitted. But if I'm talking about the 50% of the data is fitted, or the 50% of the variability is shown by the model, or is captured by the model. So this basically says that 50% of the observation is exactly maybe lying on the line, but otherwise they may be different. So for example, if I have 6 observations, so maybe this may be the scenario, not exactly, but this may be the scenario, like this is not the exactly the thing, but this is kind of a thing we can maybe visualize. So for example, this kind of a line, so 3 points are on the line, but there is some errors for this may not be like exactly 3 on 3 points. This may be a different kind of a ratio, but yeah, if r square is 0.5, then we can say that 50% of the variability is explained by the model or captured by the model, but other 50 is not. So if r square is nearly 0.9, then we can say, okay, the model is a good fit to it.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. So if there is any doubt regarding the simple linear regression analysis, then I can take it. Otherwise, we'll move towards a multiple linear regression analysis.
Madam, what is the difference between prediction of new observation and previous one? It's expectation of y given c x not has.
So what are you asking? Not getting actually.
Actually, yes, madam. The last
Yes.
interval, in this formula, last interval you are given, okay, and the next one is prediction interval you are given. What is the difference
Okay.
between?
So actually here I'm talking about the average value of y when x is x naught. I'm talking about the expected value of y. Okay, but here in this, here I'm talking about the value of y naught when so for when x is equals to x naught, I'm talking about the value of y naught only. I'm not talking about the expected value of y.
Okay,
So
madam. Thank you.
here I'm considering it as a point, as a point. Here it is considered as a random variable. So that's why you can see here there is a difference in the variances. The expectations may be same. So for example, if you find out the expectation of y naught, expectation of y here, they may be same. But if you talk about the variances, then they are different. I hope it's clear.
Okay, okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, fine. Then we'll move towards a multiple linear regression. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, madam. It's visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, so we'll move towards the multiple. Okay. So here, so till now we were discussing about y is equals to beta naught plus beta 1 x. So here there is only one regressor variable. Okay. Now, if there are more than one regressor variable. So for example, if there is a model which cannot be explained by a single regressor variable, then more variables, we may need more variables in order to explain the whole information or whole things what we want to capture, the all the information present in the data in the sense of in order to fit any model to it. So we may need some more regressors. So in that sense, if I want to talk about that kind of scenario, then then this multiple linear regression can come into the picture. And here I'm saying that it is a multiple linear regression model. Linear means that I have also discussed in the previous lecture. The linear means it is linear in the parameters, that is beta naught, beta 1 till beta k minus 1. Okay, so if this is linear in this parameter, then we'll say, okay, so here the model is written like y is equals to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus till beta k minus 1 x k minus 1. There are k minus 1 regressors. However, the parameters are k. So we have k parameters. So we have k parameters. The parameter number of parameters is k. So this is very important in order to, like, if there are like some beta k xk. So there are k regressor variables. However, the parameters are k plus 1. So this you have to note, because in degrees of freedom, whenever we are calculating, this thing is necessary, that how many regressor variable are there and how many parameters we have. So k parameters we have, and k minus 1 regressor variable we have. Okay, now here each of the observations can be represented in this way. So these xi1 is the, so I represents, so for x11 means for the first variable we have first observation, x21 means we have okay, so someone is saying something. Estimation, prediction of new observation. So whenever we are doing the interval estimation means that we want to estimate an interval in which the parameter may belong. So for that interval estimation, we basically find out the confidence interval. The prediction interval is also a confidence interval, and it is this prediction interval term is used because we are basically predicting a confidence interval for a particular value. So for a particular x naught, we are predicting the y naught. That's why we are saying it to be a prediction interval. However, it is a confidence interval only. We are just naming it as a prediction interval because we are predicting a value, or predicting a confidence interval for a value. So interval estimation is a process of estimation. Confidence interval is the thing which we are estimating, and prediction interval is also a confidence interval only. So I think it is clear, or if it is not clear, then please ask. Fine. So yeah, I was talking about the multiple linear regression. So here each observation can be represented as like this yi to be equals to this. So here xi1 means that for if I is 1 means x11 means the first regressor variable, the value first value observed for the first regressor variable. x21 will be the second observed value for the first regressor variable, and similarly for the other regressor variables. And this thing can be also written in the matrix form like this. So it is like yi is the value of the uh, dependent variable, and for I is equals to 1 to n, we have n values for it, and for each of the this regressor variables we have different values, and corresponding to beta naught there is the coefficient of beta naught is always 1, so we have taken the first row to be 1. Okay, and other these rows are there like x11 this x11 is the first observation. Okay, x21 is the second observation of this value only. However, this so here it is k minus 1, actually it is written in a wrong way. So yeah, so this is the first observation of this value, and this is the second one, and this is the nth observation. Beta naught is also there. So beta naught, beta 1, beta 2 till beta k minus 1. So these are the values of the coefficients or the parameters. Epsilon r1, epsilon 2 till epsilon n are the random errors, which are basically are the errors, like our line may not fit directly to the model, or we cannot say that data is fitted directly to the exactly to the model. So these are the errors which are occurring. And y is equals to x beta plus epsilon. This is the way we can write it in a closed form. Here x is a matrix, this matrix, okay, and beta is this vector, epsilon is this vector, and y is this vector. So in this way we can write it. Now, further we will talk about the estimators. Okay, estimators of this parameter vector. So if I say that the least square estimator for this, so now beta is the vector beta naught till beta k minus 1. Okay, now this is this vector. Now this can be estimated using this expression, that is x transpose x whole inverse x transpose y. So x matrix is this matrix. So if you have these values, these data, if you have, then just define this matrix and then find this x transpose x, find its inverse, x transpose matrix, y, and just multiply them, then you will get the beta hat. So we'll get the value of beta naught hat, beta 1 hat, till beta k minus 1 hat using this matrix. Okay, now apart from this, these residuals which we have talked about in the previous lecture also, that summation ei is 0 and summation xi ei was 0 for our previous model, that is a simple linear regression model. But here, since we have more number of parameters, so we'll differentiate with each with respect to each of the parameter and equate it to 0. Okay, then because of that process, we have this k constraints, okay, which basically says that summation ei is 0, summation ei xi1 is 0, and till summation ei xi k minus 1 is 0. So we have this k constraints. Now we can say from here also that now we know that SS residual is summation ei square, but this ei, the summation of ei, so this ei satisfies this k constraints. So k degrees of freedoms are lost. That's why we have for here the SS residual as n minus k degrees of freedom. Why? Because k degrees of freedoms are lost due to this k constraints. Okay. And there we had only two constraints, so 2 degrees of freedom were lost. So we had n minus 2 degrees of freedom, but here we have k constraints, so we have n minus k degrees of freedom. Okay, now the statistical properties, that beta hat is an unbiased estimator of beta. Variance of beta hat is given by this sigma square x transpose x inverse. So this is a matrix basically. So it will be a variance covariance matrix. So it will be a matrix here. So here it will be a variance of beta naught. Here it will be variance of beta 1. Till here it will be a variance of beta k minus 1. And here there will be the covariance terms. So this matrix we will get as a variance of beta hat because it is a vector. Okay. Now, apart from this, the same scenario that SSRES divided by sigma square, this follows chi square. But since now we have the n minus k degrees of freedom, so this follows chi square with n minus k degrees of freedom. Okay, now MS residual is also it is the SS residual divided by n minus k. There we had n minus 2, now we have n minus k. And this is an unbiased estimator of sigma square. Now, as the expressions for these three quantities, that SSREG is beta hat transpose x transpose y minus ny bar square. SS residual is y transpose y minus beta hat transpose x transpose y. Now, this can also, we can also write like yi minus yi whole square. It can have a different expressions in order to find out the value of the SS residual. SS total is summation yi square minus ny bar square, ny bar. Okay. Now further, they have SS regression has k minus 1 degrees of freedom. SS residual has n minus k degrees of freedom, and SS total has yi with this n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So this is nothing but the same yi minus y bar whole square, written in a different way. This is same. So it has n minus 1 degrees of freedom. That's same as before. SS residual n minus k degrees of freedom. And that's why, because of the difference, the SS regression will be having the k minus 1 degrees of freedom. Fine. So now, till now, we have studied in the last week 2 lectures, we have studied like these properties only. So if you have any doubt regarding any of this, then you may ask. Otherwise, we'll move towards the questions. Okay, so if there is no doubt, then we'll move towards the questions. And I hope that you people please answer whenever we are doing the calculations. Please make this class a little interactive. Okay, so this is the question number 1, which basically says that this following data is number of hours studied and the marks obtained. So these are the number of hours studied and this is the marks obtained. So you can see that marks obtained cannot be like increased or decreased, but we can increase the number of hours. Okay, so the dependent variable is the marks obtained and the independent variables is the hours. Okay, so this is the dependent variable and it is the independent variable, or we can say it is a regressor. Okay, I want to fit a simple linear regression model to it. So I want to find out beta naught plus beta 1 x. So I want to fit this model. Okay, and in order to fit this model, first of all, I want to find out the estimates of beta naught and beta 1. So first of all, we'll find out this fitted line. Okay, then we'll construct the ANOVA table. So in the second part, it is asked to construct the ANOVA table, and then we want to test the significance of this regression model at 5% level. Okay, so we'll just find out these values. So first of all, we need to calculate this beta naught hat and beta 1 hat. Okay, so for that we have this x, we have y, we have xi minus x bar. Okay, x bar, yi minus y bar, xi minus x bar whole square, xi minus x bar into yi minus okay. So the values are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 observations we have. So n is equals to 8 we have. Y is 45, 50, 54, 45, 50, 54, 60, 65, 68, 74, 79. So first of all, find out the values of summation xi. So what is summation xi?
Sum of xi is 44.
44.
Yes.
So I have not calculated actually, so I'm just believing. So other people also just let me know whether this 44 is correct or not. Fine, so it's correct. So it is 44. X summation of xi is 44. So x bar will be 44 divided by how many observations we have? We have 8 observations. So it is 5.5. Fine. Now we'll calculate the summation of yi. So what is summation of yi?
495.
495. So what will be the y bar?
Y bar is 61.87.
Equals to 495 divided by 8. 5. Minus x bar. So this is 2 and x bar we have 5.5. So 2 minus 5.5. So it is minus 3.5. Okay. And 3 minus 5.5 is minus 2.5. 4 minus 5.5, it will be minus 1.5. 5 minus 5.5 will be minus 0.5. And now 6 minus 5.5 is plus 0.5. 7 minus 5.5, 1.5. 8 minus 5.5, 2.5. And 9 minus 5.5 is 3.5. Okay. Now y bar we will be considering as 61.8 only, or I can say 61.87 till second decimal we'll take it, because otherwise it will be very big. So 45 minus 61.87. So it is minus 16.87. Okay. Other one is 50. So it is minus 11.87. Third one is 54. So just cross check the values. If you are getting a different answer, then please let me know. 54 minus 60 minus, it is minus 1.87. 65 is 3.13. 68 minus is 6.13. 74 minus is 12.13. 17.13. I hope this is correct. Now we'll find out the square of these values. So 3.5 square. This is 12.25. Okay. Now 2.5 square is 6.25. 1.5 square is 2.25. And this is 0.25. Okay, now we'll get the same values as 0.25. So I will write it in this page. Xi minus x whole square. So picture of it. Fine. So we have this. I'll write it on the next slide. So this is 12.25. This is 6.25. This is 2.25. 0.25. Again 0.25, and the values will be repeated. Fine. Now we will find out the product. Xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. So that is 3.5 into 16.87. Just find out the value. 3.5 multiplied by 16.87. So it is 59.045. Now 2.5 multiplied by 11.87. So this is 29.675. 29.675. Now 1.5 multiplied by 7.87. 11.805. 0.5 multiplied by 1.87. That is done. 0.5 into 3.13. Okay, is there any mistake? 0.5 into okay, so this is 0.935. Fine. Now last two. 1.5 into 6.13. So this is this value. This is this. So this is 1.5 into 6.13. 9.195. And this one 2.5 into 12.13. 30.325. 3.5 into 17.13. 59.955. Fine, so it is done. Now just we have to find out their sums. So just find out their sums. So this is SXX and this is SXY. So just find out the sum. First find out the sum of xi minus x bar whole square.
42, madam.
How much?
42.
42. Okay. And this one, other one? So how much is it coming? Sum of this SXY?
202.5.
202.5. Yeah, it's correct. So this is SXY. Fine. So now we have to find out the beta 1 hat. So that is SXY divided by SXX. So just find out this value. This 202.5 divided by 42. So what it is?
Madam, we have to find out yi minus y bar whole square.
We have to find out that also because we have to find out the SS residual. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll find out y minus y bar whole square also. I was thinking to find out the y hats actually, but finding out the y hats for these values are a little... Okay, so we'll find out the y hats, then we'll sum the squares of it. Okay, so just give me a minute. So we can find out the summation of yi minus yi hat square also, no? So that's why I'm thinking to find out the yi hats after finding out the... Okay, so we'll find out the y hats here and yi minus y hats square here. Okay, so before that, so for that we have to find out the beta SXY divided by SXX. So that is 202.5 divided by 42. So it is coming out to be 4.821. Okay, beta naught hat is y bar minus beta 1 hat x bar. I hope this expression is correct. Yeah. So this is equals to y bar is 6.61.87 minus beta 1 hat is 4.821 multiplied by x bar is 5.5. Just find this value. So 4.821 multiplied by 5.5. So this value is 26.515. This is 61.87. So this is coming out to be 35.354. Okay, so our model will be y hat is equals to 35.354 plus 4.821 to x. Fine. Now if I want to find out the yi hats, then I have to put the value of x here in this model. So 35.354 plus 4.821 multiplied by the first value of x is 2. So y1 hat is, so when we multiply it by 2, so y1 hat is 44.996. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now, if the second value of x is 3, so for that it is 49.817. Third value is 4. So this is 54.6. It's gone again. And I have to take the next page. Okay, so here I'll write the so here y hat. Okay, let me write the yi, and here it is yi minus y hat whole square. So it was coming at 44.996 and it is 49.817. For the third value, it is 54. The fourth value, it is 59.459. It is 64.28. Next one is 69.101. 73.922 is 78.743. And the values of yi's are 45 here, 54 here, 60 here, 65 here, 68 here, 74 and 79. Now we'll just take the difference and this will square it. So this is 44, so yi minus yi hat. So 44.996 minus 45, and we will square this quantity. So it is very small quantity, 0.000016. Okay. Next one is 50 minus 49.817. So it is 0.183 and square it. And square it. So it is 0.03314. Now 54 minus 54.638. Okay, 0.6307. Next one, so it is 60 minus 59.459, and we'll square it. So it is 0.292. Now 65 minus 64.28 square, 0.518. 68 minus 69.101 minus 68. So we'll square it. It is 1.212. Now 74 minus 73.922. And we will square it. So it is 0.0060. 79 minus 78.743, and we'll square it. So 0.066. Now just add it. So what is summation yi minus yi hat whole square? Just add these all the values. What's coming? What the sum is coming?
Madam, 2.544.
2.534. So the sum is coming. So this is nothing but our SSRES. Okay. So we have found this SSRES. Okay. So first the question we have answered already. So we have fitted this model. Y hat is equals to 35.35 plus 4.821x. The second question is construct the ANOVA table. So for ANOVA table, we also need yi minus y bar square. Okay. So that also we need. So we need yi minus y bar. Okay. So we already have yi. Okay. So I'll write the values of yi again. Yi, the values of yi is that is 45, 50, 54, 60, 68. Okay, so we have already calculated yi minus y bar here. So we'll just find out the squares. Okay, yeah, so for SS total, or other one thing we can also do, we know that SST is equals to SS regression plus SSRES. We have calculated SSRES. SS total we have to calculate, and SS total is summation yi minus y bar whole square. So for that we have to find out the yi minus y bar whole square also. So this is squares, the squares of these quantities. Okay. So I will where to write this. Let me write this here only. So okay, so here yi minus y bar whole square. So what is yi minus y bar for the first one? That is 16.87. So what is the square of it? 16.87 square.
284.597.
Yeah, so 284.5, 284.596.
7.
7. Fine, rounding off. Now next one, 11.87 square.
140.897.
140.897.
897.
Okay, next one, 7.87 square.
61.937.
987.
937.
937. Okay. I'm relying on you only. I'm not calculating it. So other person also, please you calculate and just cross check. Okay. 1.87 square.
3.497.
497. Okay. And
6.13 whole square. 37.577.
what? 3.13 square. So this
Oh,
is
sorry.
3.13. So it will be
3.9.7.
next one is 6.13 square.
37.577.
Fine. Next one is 12.13 square. This is 147.137. And next one is 17.13 square.
293.437.
Yeah. Now just to find the sum, summation of yi minus y bar square. So this is nothing but SST. So 284 point, just find out the sum and tell me. 597. So what is it coming?
Nine 978.876. 978.876.
876. Yeah. So it is the SS total. So now we'll find out the SS regression. So that is nothing but SS total minus SS residual. So this is 978.876 minus this one 2.534. So minus 2.534. So it is coming out to be 976.342. So now we are having all the terms. Fine. Now we will make the ANOVA table. Okay. Okay, so the ANOVA table, the source of variation. First one is source of variation. Then degrees of freedom, degrees of freedom. Then we have SS, then we have MS, then we have F. Here we have this regression, residual, this is total. Fine, so this degrees of freedom for the regression. So there are how many regressors? There is only one regressor, so degrees of freedom is 1. Okay, the residuals is n minus 2 and n was 8. So n was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So n
8
was 8. So 8 minus 2. So it is 6. And the total will be 7.
7 n minus 1.
Yeah. So here SS regression. So which came out to be this quantity 976.342. So this is 976.342. And SS residual is coming out to be 2.534. So 2.534, and this MS regression will be the ratio of these two. So it will be same 976.342, and this ratio will be 2.534 divided by 6. So it is 2.534 divided by 6. So it is 0.422. Okay, now F statistics will be the ratio of these two. So that is 976.342 divided by 0.422. So what is it coming? it is coming like it's a very high value 2313.60. Okay, and so we have made the ANOVA table. And the next, it is asked that we have to test the significance of this regression model at 5% level. So we have alpha to be equals to 0.05. Now we need to calculate 1,6, because this one is a regression, the degree of freedom to do regression, and this one is due to the residual. So this value we have to calculate from the F table. So we have to calculate at the numerator we have 1 degrees of freedom, and at the denominator we have 6 degrees of freedom. So this is the F table. You can see this is the denominator degrees of freedom. This is the numerator degrees of freedom. So numerator we have 1 degrees of freedom. For the denominator we have 6 degrees of freedom. And the intersection, the value lies is this 5.99. Okay, so the value from the F 99. Okay, and we can see that F is greater than, the F tabulated is greater than F 0.05, 1, 6. Hence, what we do? We reject H naught. Reject H naught means that beta 1, we reject the fact that beta 1 is equals to 0 at 5% level of significance. Okay, so we are rejecting, since we are rejecting H naught, what does it mean? That the model, or I can say the linear regression model, need significant. Okay, so it is significant because beta 1 is not equals to, basically we are saying that beta 1 is not equals to 0, because we are rejecting the fact that beta 1 is equals to 0. So is this fine? Is this question fine?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so then we'll move for the next question. So here we have this ANOVA table with us. So this is the ANOVA table where we want to calculate, first of all, the coefficient of determination. Okay, so we want to calculate at A, we have to calculate R square. So what is the formula for R square? What is the formula for R square? What is the formula for R square? Coefficient of determination. Anyone?
Sum of square of regression divided by sum of square of regression.
Yeah,
Yes.
so SS REG divided by SS total, yes. Okay, so in the from the table, if you see, we have SSREG with us. SSREG is 450. Okay, and SS total is 540. Okay, so it is 450 divided by 540. So what is it coming?
Zero 0.8
0.833.
33.
Fine. So basically, this is our R square. What percentage of variance remains unexplained? So here I can say that 83.33% of the variance is explained. but it is in the question, it is asked how much percentage it is unexplained. So it will be 100 minus 83.33. So what will be the value? 100 minus 83.33.
16.67.
Yeah. So 16.67 percentage of remains unexplained. Okay. So this is the B part. Of determination. So in the interpretation, we can only say that okay, fine, the data is we are fitting the data and the 83% means majority of the data is fitted into the model. Okay, so the fit is kind of a so in the next question it is asking that is the regression model a good fit? So we can say it is not a very good fit, but it is like a good fit because 83% of the variance is explained. Okay, so it is a good fit. Fine, so we can say it is a good fit. If
When we
we
see
are taking good as a fact, that if we are taking average, good, excellent into the picture, poor, so obviously if I had the percentage to be 90 and above percentage, then it will be an excellent fit, but in this scenario we can say that it is a good fit. Yeah, so what you are saying?
average means 0.5 and above.
Like if I say, so there is a not kind of a like proper scaling to it. It completely depends upon the user. Okay, what it is finding to be an average or a good thing. However, if it was a like a 60% kind of thing, then it kind of an average fit. We cannot say that it is a good fit. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah. So this is all about the question number 2. We'll move for the question 3 now. Okay, now here in the question it is asked that the following data were collected to study the relationship between the study hours and the examination. Okay. Sigma square. So in the question it is given like sigma square is known. Fine. Construct a 95% confidence for beta 1. First of all, let me write the formula for it. So what is what is the confidence interval for beta 1? What is the formula for it? So for that, first of all, I have to find out the beta 1 hat, the estimator. So let me write the value. So this is beta 1 hat plus minus, since this sigma square is known, so we'll use the z table. So it is z alpha by 2 square root of sigma square divided by sxx. Okay, so this will be the, so I have written here plus minus means the negative side will be on the left side, the positive side will be on the right side. Okay, so for that we have to find out the beta 1 hat, we have to find out the beta 1 hat only, because in that only we will be able to find out the sxx. So let me write the values: x here, y here, xi minus x bar here, and xi minus x bar whole square, and xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. So the values of x are 24579. So it is 24579. And these are 50, 55, 59, 59, 68, 74. Now just tell me the value of summation xi.
X is 27.
Okay, 27. Summation yi.
306.
306. Okay, so what are the values of x bar and y bar?
Y bar is 61.2.
61.2 and x bar is 5.4. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. So now we'll calculate xi minus x bar. So let's calculate xi minus x bar for the first observation. So it is 2 minus 5.4.
Minus 3.4.
Minus 3.4. 4 minus
Minus
5.4, 1.4, I think. Or 5 minus 5.4,
minus
7 minus 5.4, 1.6,
1.6.
and this
3.
is 3.6. Okay. Now we'll square them. 3.4 square, 11.56. 1.4 square, 1.96. 0.4 square,
0.16.
1.6 square,
2.56.
2.56. 3.6 square,
12.96.
12.96. Fine. Now we'll calculate the. We have to calculate yi minus y bar also. No? Fine. So yi minus y bar will be 50 minus 61.2.
Minus 11.2.
Minus 11.2 and 55 minus. Sorry,
Minus
55
6.
minus 61.2. What?
Minus 6.2.
Minus 6.2. 59 minus 61.2.
Minus 2.2.
Yeah. 68 minus 61.2.
6.8.
6.8 and 74 minus 61.2.
12.
12. Yeah. Now I have to find this product. So 3.4 multiplied by 11.2. So it is xi minus x bar, yi minus y bar. So it is 3.4 and 11.2.
38.08.
38.08. Next one is 1.4 into 6.2.
8.68. 8.6.
1.4. Yeah, 8.68. Yeah. 0.4 into 2.2. 0.88. And the next 1.6 and 6.8. 10.88.
88. 10.88.
3.6 and 12.8.
46.08.
46.08. Now find out the sum. One not 4.6. Just cross check it. Now we have to find out the SXX. Fine.
Yes, madam, correct.
So now xi minus x bar whole square. Find out the sum for this.
$29.20.
Okay. So 29.2. So for this, we need, and for the question, we need beta 1 hat. So beta 1 hat is nothing but 104.6 divided by 29.2. So what is it?
3.58.
3.58. Fine. Now we have all the things. We have to find out z alpha y2 and also. So alpha is, here we have 0.9, so 95% confidence interval. So is given. So alpha is 1 minus 0.95. So this is 0.05. Fine. So we need z 0.05 by 2. So that is z 0.025. Fine. So we'll find that from the table. So z 0.025. So 0.0. So basically what we need here, we need the point here, so that here is 0.025. So this is the point. Okay, so we need the probability z greater than z 0.025 is 0.025. Fine. So basically we need this point, in the right hand side of which the probability is 0.025. Okay, so and in this table you can see that the integration is given from minus infinity to x. Fine. So if the integration is given, so here what we are getting this point. So this point is right side probability 0.025. Me is 0.975. Okay, because the total probability is 0. So probability of this region, so area of this region is 0.975. So we need to find out that integration of minus infinity to 0.025, this point, and the integration of this curve f. So this is equals to, we need at 0.975, because in the table the probabilities are given in different direction, that it is given like integration from minus infinity to x. That's why we have to find out this area in the left hand side, and the integration of this curve is 0.975. So we need to find out this point. So here this also we can also write like 1 minus probability z less than or equals to 0.025 is equals to 0.025, and probability z less than or equals to z 0.025 is equals to 0.975. We need this point. Okay, so now we'll see in the table where the area is 0.975. So the area is 0.975. So where the area is 0.975 and 7. Yeah, so this is 975. So the point is 1.96. So here it is 1.9 and it is 0.06. So the point is 1.96. the left side of which the area is 0.975. So the point is Z alpha by 2 is 1.96. So Z 0.025 is 1.96. Fine. So now we will place the values in the confidence interval. So 95% confidence interval for beta 1 is, so beta 1 hat, so beta 1 hat was 3.582 minus this 1.96 square root of sigma square, which is 9, divided by Sxx. So what is Sxx? So it is 29.2, comma 3.582 plus 1.96 square root of 9.29. Just calculate these values. So it is 3.582 minus 1.087, comma 3.582 plus 1. I hope this is correct, the calculation. So this is the confidence interval for beta 1. Okay, the 95% confidence interval for beta 1. Is it fine? So we have found out this confidence interval for beta 1. So is it fine?
Yes, madam.
Fine. Now, in the next question, so I'll not do the whole calculation. Fine, I'll just give you an idea how to find out the values. Fine, I'll just give the like the values. So MS residual is a quantity which we all know how to calculate now because we have done many questions on it. Fine. So here in the question it is written that this data was obtained from an experiment. Now we have to construct a 95% confidence interval for beta 1. But here you can see that sigma square is not known. In the question, sigma square is not given. So sigma square is unknown. So that's why we need to find out the confidence interval, which is based upon the MS residual, and the values of the critical point is calculated using the T table. Okay, so the formula for that is beta 1 hat plus minus T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2. Okay, and square root of MSRES divided by SXX. Because we know that MSRES is an unbiased estimator of the sigma square. Okay, now what is MSRES? So here in this we know that MSRES is nothing but SSRES by n minus 2. And we have like 6 minus 2, so it will be 4. So it is SSRES by 4. Now SSRES we know how to calculate, so that is summation yi minus y hat whole square. So for that we have to calculate the fitted value. Okay, for that we have to find out the regression model, whatever we want to fix, so which is fixed in it. Okay, and then we have to calculate the y hat and we have to calculate the difference. So that's the same way which I have done before for the ANOVA table and for the in the previous examples also. So same way we just find out the SSRES, divide it by 4, so you will get the MSRES. Okay, and in this process only you will find out the SXS. So this is known, this is known. Okay, now beta 1 hat, in this process only we will find out the beta 1 hat for it. Now T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2. Now here 1 2 3 0 5. So it is 0.025, comma 4. So this value we will calculate from the t table. So if I see the t table, so for 4 degrees of freedom, 0.025 we need this. So the value is 2.776. Fine. So it is 2.776. Now, by fitting the simple linear regression line to it, we will know the every value defined in this expression, and we can find out the confidence interval. Any doubt in this? Because here I have already done an example by where I found out the value of the SSRES. Okay, so now for this question also, this can be similarly found out because the calculations are very lengthy, so it will be very boring to like discuss all the calculations here. I've done two of the examples for it, so I will not be discussing the same for the other example also. Here, including this example, the main motive was that I want to differentiate between two questions, that whether sigma square is known, whether sigma square is not known, how the question will look like, and how you have to take the decision. Is it fine?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so then we'll move for the next question. Now again, here we have to find out the 95% confidence interval for expected value of y given x is equals to 4. Now for this, we need, so x is equals to 4 means x naught is beta, so not beta 1, expected value of y given x is equals to 4 hat. Okay, so this is the estimator, so that is nothing but beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x naught. So here just place the value of x naught. By fitting the linear regression line, you will know that beta naught hat and beta 1 hat, what are they? And in that expression, just place the value of x naught here, you will get this estimate. So this is this estimate. So this is known if beta naught hat and beta 1, these estimates are known. So this you can find out by fitting the line. So this is known now. Now this estimate is known. So what is the confidence interval? The confidence interval is this hat plus minus here this t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2, because you can see the variance is not given, so we are using the t value, and here it is under root of MSRES 1 by n plus x naught minus x bar whole square divided by SXX. Here you can see that in the previous confidence interval, the under root quantity was sigma square by SXX or MSRES by SXX. But here there are some more terms also. So here x naught is nothing but this value which is given. X bar is nothing but the average of these values. We will not be including this 4 value here. We only will find out the x bar for these values. Okay, x naught minus x bar can be found out, SXX we can find out, and all these values. And at 95% confidence interval, so t alpha by 2 and n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only. So n minus 2 is 4. So t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 will be same as previous example. So that is 2.766. 776. Fine. So we can find out this confidence interval in this way. Is it fine?
Ma'am, when calculating, we have to remove the data of if x naught is equal to 4, we have to remove the data of x equal to 4 and that y equal to 10 when calculating.
No, actually, I'm saying what I'm saying is that this the already observed. So this is already observed. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that do not include one more 4 here. Okay, just find out the x bar for this values, these all values. Okay, just don't interpret it like as we have to add one more 4 to it. So do not add one more 4 to it. Just find out the x bar for 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 divided by 6.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Fine. So then we'll move forward for the next question. So where we are basically we are finding out the prediction interval. Okay, so here you can see that in the data, it is the hours studied in the examination, in the marks in the examination. So X and Y are this data is basically collected. Now we have to construct 95% prediction interval for the mark of a new student who studies for 7 hours. So here you can see that X is equals to 7 is not present here. The 7 hours data is not present here, but we have to find out that there is a new student who studied for 7 hours, and according to our model, just predict its marks. Okay, so for that, we have to calculate that. First of all, we have to fit the model. So our fitted model will be, so y is equals to beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x. Okay, now corresponding to x naught to be 7, we need to find out the y naught hat. So the y naught hat will be beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x naught. So this is the basically the point estimate for that prediction. So I can say, okay, y naught hat is coming out to be this. Now this is the point estimate for this for the mark of the new student. Okay, but here in the question, I want to find out the prediction interval. So the point estimate is not enough. We have to find out the confidence interval for it. So for that, the formula is y naught hat plus minus t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2, because sigma square is not known here, under root of MSRES 1 plus 1 by n, okay, plus x naught minus x bar whole square SXX. Here x naught is 7, x bar is the average of this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, SXX will be found out. We will be finding out using this observations. MS residual also calculated. T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2. So here we have degrees of freedom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N is 5, so n minus 2 will be 3. So T is 0.025 comma 3. So this value will be what from the table? So for 3, oh, not this. Yeah, so for 3, 0.025 will be 3.182. So it is 3.182. Now you know the y naught hat. You know each of the values. When you fit a model, then you can just find out this confidence interval. Is it fine? Any doubt? Any doubt in this?
No, madam.
Fine. So now at last we will do a multiple linear regression problem. So here you can see that consider this multiple linear regression model. Here we have two regressors, x1 and x2, and three parameters, beta naught, beta 1, and beta 2. Okay, so y is equals to x beta, and here x, how x is there like this. So we have data. So basically we have data for like x1 is in observations. Also x1 has 3 observations. We have 3 observations for x1, that is 1, 2, and 3. And for x2 we have 3 observations, that is 2, 1, and 4. Okay, and for y we have 3 observations, that is 9, 10, and 19. So actually the data is in this form, that the value of y is 9, 10, 19. The value of corresponding x1 values is 1, 2, 3, and x2 values is 2, 1, 4. Now these observations are just like we have represented it in a matrix form like this and this. So that model is pi is equals to x beta. Okay, where beta is nothing but this vector beta naught, beta 1, beta 2. Fine. Now I want to find out the fitted multiple linear regression equation. So for that, first of all, we'll find out the ordinary least square estimators, that is beta hat. So we know that beta hat is nothing but x transpose x inverse. Okay. Then we have x transpose y. Fine. Now we have this x matrix. We just transpose it. So x transpose x is 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 1, 4. And x is 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. So what will be the multiplication? The first entry will be 3. Second entry will be 2 plus 3 is 5. Sum of this. So this is 6. Third will be sum of this 7. This is a symmetric matrix. So this will be 14 and this will be 2 plus 2 plus 12, 16. And this is 4 plus 1 plus 16, 21. So this X transpose X will be this. Any doubt? Anything? Anything in calculating this X transpose X?
No doubt, madam.
Fine. Now we'll find the inverse of this matrix. Fine. So for that, first of all, for this quantity, I have to find out this into this minus this into this. So can I write the inverse directly? Because the calculation is lengthy, so you may calculate it. The finding out the inverse of a matrix is not a big task. So the inverse of this matrix is 38 minus 14 minus 2 minus 14, 14 minus 6 minus 2 minus 6 and 6. So basically we find out the cofactors minus and the cofactors, and then we just find out the.
Madam, you are using the formula as determinant of A into
Yeah.
correct?
What?
A, that means A inverse is 1 divided by determinant of A into adjoint of A.
Yeah. That is the only formula for the finding out the inverse of a matrix. We divide it by the determinant, and we find the adjoint, and we find the determinant. We divide it. Find the first of all, we find the minus and the cofactors, and then divide. Then find out the transpose of it.
Course.
What?
Adjointment of A is cofactor of A and transpose.
Yeah,
Taking it.
Yeah, so we'll find, first of all, we'll find the minors, then we'll make the matrix, then we'll find the cofactors, then we'll find the, the joint of A, and we'll transpose it and divide it by the determinant. So that is the only formula for finding out the inverse of the matrix. So that only we used and find out the value of this matrix, and then further we'll, so beta hat will be this matrix 38 minus 14 minus 2 minus 14 14 minus 6 minus 2 minus 6 6, and here we have this X transpose Y. And the Y matrix, so it is 9 10 19. Okay, so further this just find out the multiplication. Just multiply these two matrices, then multiply this matrix with that. We'll just get three values, that is beta naught hat, beta 1 hat, and beta 2 hat. Okay, is it fine? Because this is just a matrix multiplication. Is it fine?
Yes, madam.
So then we'll write like y is equals to beta naught hat plus beta 1 hat x1 plus beta 2 hat x2. So that will be our fitted model. Right? Is there any doubt? Because I'm done with the questions now. All the formulations which we have discussed questions on it. So are there any doubts?
Madam, without empirical data, we can't say that the hypothesis zero or not equal.
Your voice is breaking actually. So can you please repeat?
Actually, the question is without statistical data, we cannot say that beta is equal to zero or not equal to zero for the testing of hypothesis. It is
So
correct, madam?
for if I so you're talking about the multiple linear regression analysis or the simple
Yes,
linear
multiple regression.
or the
Y
multiple.
beta x plus epsilon.
So actually, the thing is, there are studies where only by using beta naught is equals to zero is given. So whole theory, everything is given by using the beta naught to be equals to zero. Fine. If beta naught is equals to zero, what that means that number of parameters are reduced. So number of parameters will be, in our case, it will be k minus one. Okay. Now, if in the studies where the beta naught is equals to zero, so it is always possible. We can also do all the things which we are doing by taking beta naught to equals to zero, and we are just considering the model beta one x1 plus beta two x2 till beta k xk. There is no problem in that. There, the difference will be like you will have. So, for example, if you take y is equals to, so in the other page. So if you take y is equals to beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 till beta k xk. Okay, so if you take this model, then we have to differentiate it with respect to beta 1, beta 2 till beta k. Okay, so taking y to be equals to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 till beta k minus 1 x k minus 1 is equivalent. So they both are equivalent. I am saying that in place of x1, this is a random variable here, we'll just take it as a constant vector, like value of this is always 1. Then both the problems are same only. So if I'm studying this, then this is already studied actually. And also I can say that I can study this and I can just differentiate. Basically, we are finding out the OLSCs. So here I will differentiate with respect to beta 1, with respect to beta 2, with respect to beta k. Then I'll get k constraints. Okay, then the degrees of the freedom of the SSRES will be n minus k only. So I can completely follow up it with the same idea. So it depends upon the data sometimes that whether what to consider, but here we have considered this model. It is very crucial that we should know that, okay, this beta naught is not zero for our case.
Madam, I'm asking beta taken as a common vector of beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, etc., beta k.
Yeah.
That beta is equal to zero. Always
Hmm.
it is true.
So your voice is completely breaking. I'm not getting what you are asking.
Madam, in the model, multilinear regression model,
Yeah.
beta we find as column vector of beta naught, beta 1, beta 2, etc., beta k minus 1.
Hmm.
In that beta, zero always are not equal to zero always. We can say without statistical data, zero are not equal to zero. That is my
So
question.
actually, your voice is not clear. You just please write the message in the chat box. Then I'll just see. I'm not able to understand what you are asking. Other than this, so you just write in the chat box. I'll just read it and then answer your question. Any other doubt?
Ma'am, in the final NEPTEL exam, will they provide the tables, ma'am, or the values will be given? Or
So it depends if the question, like if their questions are less, so the all the information will be there with you. But you should also know that how to see, like watch a table, how to find the values from the table. So in case if the tables are there, then you just find out the values from the tables. If the directly values are given, then just write the values directly. Okay. So the more good way to do the things is like just learn how to see the table. Okay,
Okay,
if the
ma'am.
tables are given, then that's because it totally depends upon the person who is setting the exam. So it is not like tables are given or the values are directly given. Okay, so just try to
Just wanted
see.
to know whether the tables will be given or not, so that we can select the value, ma'am. Like
So yeah, that's
see
what
the
I'm
value
saying.
and.
So that's what I'm saying. So there are the chances that the table may be given. There are the chances that the directly values will be given. So
Okay, ma'am.
the yeah, so it is not fixed like tables will be given or not. So I'm saying just learn how to watch the table or how to find the values from the table. If tables are given, that then just find the values. If the directly values are given, then just use those values directly.
And the calculators, ma'am, like online calculator or
So,
physical calculator, ma'am.
so I don't think so. Very major calculation will be there. So in these questions, I'm just finding that some weird calculations are there where I'm like finding out the values. But I don't think so that major calculations will be there. If there are major calculations, then calculator may be allowed. But if you can see the questions in the assignments, then you just see that the values are like summation x y x I minus x bar y I minus the values of sxy sxx are already given. Okay, so there are more chances. I'm not saying it very surely, but there are more chances that the calculated values are given. And if there is a major calculation, then calculators will be provided. But I don't think that major calculations will be there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I hope so. So what was your doubt? You have no. Okay. So beta is equals to 0 versus beta not equals to 0. Okay, so without statistical value, you want to reject H naught. So there is a concept of p value actually. So by using the p value, we can calculate, but those things are not discussed in the class, so that's why I have not discussed. So there is a concept of p value where we find out the quantiles from the data and just reject H naught on the basis upon the data only. So that is used majorly when test statistics are not available. So for certain testing problems, so here we have the test statistics, we have the distribution and all those things. But in many of the scenarios, the distribution of the random variables are not known. So we do not know the distribution of the test statistics. So in those scenarios, this p-value concepts are used. So for that, we use the p-value. By without knowing the statistical value, we can find out that whether to reject H naught or not. However, the if you can find out the distribution of the test statistics, then this is a more kind of a good way to find out. However, p-value is also a good way to find out the value, to find out the decision. Is it okay?
Okay, madam. My doubt is without data, statistical value, can we reject straight away or it's possible?
I
That's
don't
fine.
think so because you cannot. So you are basically rejecting or accepting the hypothesis based upon the data only.
Yes,
If
madam. Yes.
you yeah, so you have to calculate some of the statistics on which basically present the data. So you have to calculate. Otherwise, how you will be able to? The p-value thing is also where in the from the data we find out the p-value that is based upon the data only. So you
That's why.
you have to use the data.
We can't say that always beta is not equal to 0. That's my question.
What are you saying?
We can't say that always beta is not equal to 0. Is
No,
correct,
no,
ma'am?
we cannot say. No, no, you cannot say that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's based on only statistical value data.
Yeah, it depends totally on the data.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I hope all the doubts are clear. If there are some, then you can ask. Otherwise, we'll conclude this session. So the recording for the today's session will be uploaded on YouTube, and the presentations are available on Google Drive. And last day to submit this assignment is 5th of August. And the next session for the week 3 lectures will be on 10th of August from 6 to 8 p.m. If there are some more doubts, then please ask. Otherwise, we'll end the session. Okay. Okay. So if there are no doubts, then we'll end the session.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay, fine. Thank you guys for joining. Let's
Thank you,
meet
ma'am.
next Monday. Okay.